Do you ever wonder what it really takes to lose weight and to keep it off for good? With God at the center of it, what does that look like? So in this episode, you're going to hear advice from real women inside of Fit Moms Academy who are walking the journey right now. Recently on our group coaching call, we had a night of wisdom where our Fit Moms shared a piece of advice that is from their own health journey or their parenting or their faith journey. And it was so impactful that I thought the information would bless you too. They're sharing the honest, unfiltered truth about their struggles, their breakthroughs, and how God has met them in the middle of it all. It is not about perfection. It's about progress and surrender and fully experiencing freedom from the battle with food and the scale. So tune in today to learn about the unexpected mindset shifts that really change everything for these women and how faith has helped overcome all or nothing thinking, what consistency really looks like when life is busy, and you'll also get some encouragement for when you feel stuck or when you're ready to give up. So if you've ever thought, why can't I just stay consistent? In this episode, it's going to give you hope and truth and practical steps to keep going. Let's get started. Hey, welcome to the Kingdom Fit Moms podcast, where we believe that you can go on a journey to lose weight for the last time. I know you've tried all the things and you may not believe me yet, but when you do weight loss the Kingdom Fit Moms way, everything changes. You're in the right place if weight is constantly on your mind, you're confused about food, you're missing out on memories, and maybe even putting your dreams off for another day because this weight struggle is no joke. We're a community and we're on a mission to invite God into this weight loss journey so you can shed the burden and shine your light. I want you to start living and believing in the version of yourself that heaven sees. Let's get started. Hello, Fit Moms. My name's Kelsey Wickenhauser. If we're just meeting, I am the founder of Kingdom Fit Moms, and what I do with my clients is we have a program called Fit Moms Academy, and I'm telling you that right off the bat because this whole episode is inspired by the women who are doing the thing. And I think it's one thing for you to hear from me and from our guests each week, but I wanted to share with you the advice that our Fit Moms gave on a recent call. We sometimes have what we call a night of wisdom, where I get off the mic and let our community coach each other on something that the Lord has put on their heart, in regards to faith, or maybe something related to a breakthrough that they've had with their weight loss journey, or with food, or whatever. It can be deep, it can be very practical, and it's a lot of fun because, again, I like to see myself as a facilitator, bringing forth a lot of information that I have learned over time, but ultimately I want us to get to a place where we can heal, and then part of that healing journey is helping others to heal. So that's what happened. And so I wanted to hopefully inspire you with their wisdom. So I wrote things down as we were having this conversation. So I'm just going to kind of share things one at a time. And you might want to pause this episode and grab a notebook and pen yourself. And then I would just encourage you to sit with some of these pieces of advice and wisdom and just ask the Lord, do I believe that in the core of who I am? Or have I experienced that? Do I want to experience that? What's holding me back from getting to that point? Okay, so number one, this Fit Mom, she just shared that her breakthrough really has come through renewing her mind and inviting God into the journey and living out affirmations that she has written down, that promises that the Lord has spoken over her life, that, affirmations about who she is in Him, And she also shared that she is just really learning to love real food and enjoy it. And it's cool how, as she has said yes to getting rid of the junk, her palate has been rewired and she craves real food. And the last piece of advice that this fit mom gave was just that she's not being controlled by a number on the scale. It's just such a greater vision when you can see that you're doing this for the Lord and that His food and His ways are better. So that's step one, and a great place to start. She let off her call. Okay, number two. This fit mom just described how she is really letting go of lies that she's been believing for years and years. She described how she would tell herself things like, I just don't want to do hard work. I want to, I don't want to eat vegetables in my eggs. I don't want to do these hard things. And she's realizing that those were lies that she was allowing herself to believe and excuses that she was allowing herself to stay in, and she's breaking out of them. Okay, number three. This fit mom described how she is becoming aware of thought patterns. So this is similar to the one that was just shared. And she is now able to change those thought patterns in a moment. So this is, as a little aside, this is really key to your healing journey, because when you can start to recognize like, oh, every thought that pops in my head is not the truth. And I have some control over those thoughts. I have a lot of control over those thoughts, and I can realign them with what the truth is. That is a major, major part of your breakthrough. And so she described how she is now getting to the point where she's thinking how the Lord can use her as her best self. And that helps change her decision in a moment, because she wants to live as the version of herself that is who she's designed to be, right? And one example that she gave was that she used to say, I might as well sabotage my day. I might as well do this. I might as well do that. And I love this analogy that she gave after we got off our call. I think this is one of the main takeaways that a lot of us left with is she gave this picture of, okay, so I'm driving down the road and my tire goes flat. Am I just going to go pop all the other tires? Of course not, right? And so instead of having this, I might as well sabotage my entire day, she's gotten to the point where she can see like, okay, this one tire is flat. I'm going to fix that, and I'm going to jump back into driving my car in the direction that I want it to go without a spare on it. Okay, next fit mom, she said something to the effect of, I can feel sad and I can still love my body. I don't have to use food as an immediate reward. And so we had a conversation around being able to feel the feelings and validate, like, it's okay to feel sad. And I can still honor my body with the food that I eat. It doesn't have to be something that is mutually exclusive. Okay. Our next fit mom shared that her piece of advice was to find what you love to do and what you don't mind doing and bring others along and keep going. And so her story is that she has gotten into fitness and running and losing a significant amount of weight and influencing her classroom and doing a lot of heart work. And it's really cool to see her move into this other side of really enjoying the process and living in the freedom and still working and still doing the hard work to like completely break free, but finding joy in it. So I love that. Okay. Our next fit mom, she shared her piece of wisdom was that I want to do what God wants, which includes things like moving, eating, being in nature, and adding good food instead of having a mindset of I can't have this or I can't have that. So it's just more of a mindset of addition and getting to do His better ways instead of feeling like I can't do this or that. All right, our next fit mom, she described how at times the scale and clothes may not reflect the changes that I've made, but everything that I am doing is still honoring to the Lord. And I love this last line that she said. She goes, "It's all still better." I'm just going to pause there and share some of my thoughts on that. So it is worth considering. What if I went on this journey to do health God's way and to give this area over to Him? What if I did that and I didn't see the scale move at all? Would I be willing to do that knowing that it's still better? Would I be willing to go on this journey to eat real food and move my body if I knew that I was going to feel better and get rid of the fog in my mind and see disease processes go down, even if the scale didn't reflect that how I expected it to? Now, in my experience, when you do things God's way, one of the fruits of that is seeing the scale go down. But I just think it's worth considering at a heart level, am I doing what the Lord wants for me? Okay, our next Fit Mom, she shared a little bit about community and what Fit Moms has meant to her from a community standpoint. She shared something to the effect of, you guys are all my friends, which is true. We have a really tight-knit community. And her piece of advice was that the enemy, he wants us to stay in the dark and to not have a place to talk. But Scripture tells us the opposite, right? To bring those dark things into the light. Let there be light. And when we have a community, it can help shine light on those areas of our life that are dark. She also shared that it's important to resist in the right places and to continue with consistency over intensity. And then ultimately, when it all boils down, it comes down to making a decision and having a stake in the ground. And then she circled back into this idea that healing, with all of these pieces of the puzzle, it can only be done in community. And I think that's incredibly true as we go on a healing journey. And even if, from what I've experienced, being a part of Freedom House Ministry, which is a place, it's inner healing and prayer counseling and figuring out the roots of why we are the way that we are. As you go through that healing process and you get to the end of the process inside of the school, then you have to have a place to land. You have to have a place where you can continue to practice and walk it out and be vulnerable and do life and see how you do in certain circumstances, right? And so having a healthy community is absolutely key. If you just live in a vacuum, you're not actually experiencing the fruit of all the healing that you've gone through. So I love that. So whatever your community is, whether it's inside of Fit Moms Academy or whatever that looks like for you, find your people and make sure that it's a place that's taking you to a higher level, right? You don't want to be around everyone who is still struggling because you're going to stay there. Okay. Next Fit Mom shared a simple piece of advice, but I think it's really profound, and I would love for you to write this down and really ruminate on it. You never know what your yes will produce. You never know what your yes will produce. And what I have seen when it comes to this weight loss journey and making the decision to do it again, right? Because many of you have done weight loss many times and you're frustrated by that and you feel ashamed of that. The hardest part is that yes, is saying, okay, I'm doing this. I guess I'm doing this. It's that commitment because there's such a fear of failure and even a fear of success. What am I going to have to give up? Where am I going to have to get uncomfortable? So you never know what your yes will produce. All right, our next Fit Mom, she shared a beautiful reminder for all of us, which is to love myself where I am now and to be patient with my body. Can I get an amen to that? It's so tempting to want to rush the journey and get to the end. Okay. Our next Fit Mom, I have a couple more. Hopefully you're feeling encouraged. And I'm curious, just as an aside, which of these resonate with you and which of these you know you want to grow in. I would love if you hopped into our Kingdom Fit Moms Facebook community and just share a little bit about where you're at in the journey, what you've tried, and kind of what is speaking to you as you learn to invite God into this area of your life. Okay, so our next fit mom, she said, it's work to lose weight and treat weight loss like a job. Like thinking about what you have to do every day with your job, see it as something that you just need to do little by little, consistently, to lose the next 10 pounds. See it as a job and put it in your schedule and pick those small steps. We had a fun discussion. This was, I thought, genius, actually. She talked about doing an exercise circuit in the bathroom before taking a shower. I was like, okay, that is genius, because you can lock the door, everybody can leave you alone, you can get a little bit sweaty, and then you can shower, right? You're going to be like, why is mom in the bathroom for so long? Don't worry about it. So everybody could do that, right? We all have 10 minutes in our day, or 15 minutes, or whatever, 5 minutes, for goodness sakes, to do some push-ups and squats and sit-ups or lunges or whatever that looks like. I've been trying to do my Pilates leg lifts while I'm brushing my teeth. I'm like, hey, this can't hurt anything. I'm standing here anyways. I might as well work my booty a little bit. So, seeing it as a job and finding a way to get it done in the cracks of our day. I think that is really important. Okay, as we get to the end of this list, I'm just wondering, are you sitting here thinking, yes, yes, and yes, I agree, I want that, I see it that way, or at least I want to see it that way? We've already talked about this is a power of community, and we are inviting God into this journey. But inside of Fit Moms Academy, you actually have a space to process and to be held accountable with truth and love, and to have fun with women who get you. I know it can be tempting to think, I'll just do it later, maybe after the new year, or maybe after we finish paying off the car or whatever. It can also be tempting to think, I'll just keep listening to this podcast or diving into the Facebook group, and that will be enough. But I want to encourage you to consider that statement from one of our fit moms. You never know what your yes will produce. And what if you took a leap of faith to truly invite God into this area of your life today? What could he do with that yes in 3 months or 6 months or a year? What adventures might you go on because you feel amazing in your skin again? How will you show up differently with your kids if you decided to be a fun, vibrant, energetic mom that you know you can be? Like, you know it's in there. It just needs a little reemergence, right? What about your marriage? How will that confidence transform your intimacy and get you back to that place in the marriage that you signed up for? I know that we are masters of putting our own needs off as moms, but I want to encourage you to see it getting healthy as your next step of faith. As you purify your temple and become physically strong, you're going to get excited to see what the Lord will do in ways that you could never imagine. If you know that being in our community is your next step, I want you to go right now to kelseywickenhauser.com/join, where you can get all the information. You can also send me an email with any questions, info@kelseywickenhauser.com, or hop down to the show notes to get all the information that I just shared. All right, keep shedding your burden to shine your light, and we cannot wait to get to know you. Hey Fit Mom, if this episode blessed you today and you can think of somebody else who's struggling in her weight loss journey, would you consider sharing this week's episode with her to give her a sense of hope? And then while you're at it, hop on over to our free Facebook community, Kingdom Fit Moms, for daily encouragement and support. Let's go shed the weight to shine the light.